Chapter 7. Right, so, even though you copyrighted the CD-ROM and you were selling this thing, like, it's fair to say that, you weren't setting out to be like a video game mogul, using the dark arts of memetic engineering, like, all in service of, moving fucking units.
Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't foresee what happened with Coast to Coast, for one thing.
Right.
I didn't even know I was going to get on Coast to Coast, but eventually I did. So the CD-ROM, basically, a couple of things about that. Number one is I barely sold it over cost.
No shit.
So, yeah. So it cost me, I don't even remember the numbers now, but it cost me like a couple dollars a unit to make. Then there was shipping.
Mm-hmm.
There was the shipping material, so like the envelopes and the padding, and then there was the postage, and so there was all of that.
Yeah.
I actually sat down one day and figured out like what I made per unit at the end of the day when all the costs were subtracted. It was about 24 cents a unit.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. I mean, because I sold it like just barely above cost, and I left a little bit on there, so it'd be like, well, it's gonna cost me for shipping, and
right.
And like the thing about selling through places like Amazon and other book distributors, which were around at the time, which are kind of the thing of the past these days, but they don't pay retail; they pay 60% of retail.
Mm.
You sell to the distributor at 60% of what the retail cost is.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's the wholesale.
Yeah.
But I kept the cost low, and at the end of the day, it was about 32 cents a unit or something like that. And so I donated that to the Homeless Garden Project, which we talked about earlier.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Because in 99, I went back to Santa Cruz.
Mm.
So I left Adobe in the beginning of, literally in January 99.
Yeah.
January 1st, 1999 was my last day. And then I started Spruce, the DVD company.
Mm.
By July, we were selling ourselves to Apple. That's how quick we sold. Yeah. I mean, dude, we just like boom out the door.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so I, I could have gone with the rest of the people to Apple because that's who bought us.
Mm-hmm.
And I could have worked there for 2 years and made a bunch more money, but I didn't want to. So my guys went, they went, and I'm like, cool, good for you. I'm happy for you. They were happy. I was happy for them. I didn't want to go, so I took the smaller payout.
Yeah.
And did not have to go to Apple because, like, nothing against, well, I kind of have everything against Apple these days. But back then, I didn't have much against Apple.
Right.
And so when I first started working at Adobe, I lived in San Francisco because I told you I moved to San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And we were at the Mountain View campus. And then we moved from the Mountain View campus to downtown San Jose, which was another 20 miles south. And so I was commuting from San Francisco to San Jose all of a sudden. Before I was going from San Francisco to Mountain View, and then now it was I had another 20 miles to that.
Yeah.
And this is like when .com was like going gangbusters. And so the 101 between San Francisco and Silicon Valley, which kind of ended in San Jose, basically turned into LA style freeway traffic.
Yeah.
It looked like the 405.
God.
And so like I was spending 2 hours commuting to work, 12 hours working, sometimes 10, 12 hours working, and then 2 hours commuting home.
Jesus Christ.
So I said, okay, I'm going to get a house in San Jose because fuck this. I'm spending like all my time in my office or in my car.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, and fuck that. And so when we sold ourselves in like, I no longer had to commute. Or, I didn't have to be there.
Right.
Because, like, Adobe was in San Jose, and then when I left Adobe and started Spruce, we put that in Cupertino. We were literally right on the edge of the old Apple campus, not the big circle that they have now, but the old Apple campus. And coincidentally, they bought us, which was weird, but they did. And we were right next door to them, which might have had something to do with it, but it was mostly because we had a superior product.
Right.
And a lot of it, I think, was because I brought the Adobe interface aesthetic with me. And so we made it look and act like an Adobe product, which at the time was the leader in interface for their products.
Yeah.
I even hired an interface guy from Adobe to work.
Oh, word.
Yeah. So the guy who designed Premiere ended
Okay.
up being the guy who designed the interface for Spruce.
Word.
So I'm sitting there with a house in San Jose that I no longer, because I really didn't want to live in San Jose because it's not a great town,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it was like the right place to be geographically.
Yeah, for sure.
So but now all of a sudden I'm not working. I don't have anything to do in Silicon Valley, and I'm not thinking I'm going to do anything. So I'm like, I'm going to go back to Santa Cruz.
Hell yeah. And
So I did, and I went over the hill and got a house that was one half a block away from the apartment building at 321 2nd Street. Yeah, it just happened to be available, and I'm like, oh, cool, I can live here, like by my folks.
hell yeah. And you were still in
so I
touch
got
with the
Oh yeah, I was
former
still in touch
associate
with everybody. Yeah. And then this is weird. 6 months after I moved back to Santa Cruz, Nina Gerboy passed away.
Mm.
And then a few months after she passed away, Elizabeth Gibbs passed away.
Wow.
And about 2 weeks after Elizabeth passed away, her partner Patty passed away.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
The guy who turned me on to the Homeless Garden Project, Patty Long.
Yeah.
And so I felt like, okay, all the money I'm making on the CD-ROM, which is there was a lot of units moving, so like it wasn't a lot per unit, but it kind of added up to some money, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And so I just like gave 100% of the profits to the Homeless Garden Project for a couple of years.
That's the coolest thing I've ever heard.
So that's where it went.
That's fucking awesome. Hell
In
yeah.
the meantime, I always had a free version available on the internet.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to download it, and if you had the time, you could download it for free.
Word. That's awesome.
And if you didn't have the time, because like this is still the era of dial, it's like right on the edge of the crossover from dial up to DSL.
Yeah.
Most people still had dial up.
Oh yeah.
You could just buy the CD-ROM, and then you would have it all and you'd have extra stuff. Like if you downloaded it on the internet, you got the ebook, but you didn't get all the extras that I had on the CD-ROM, which was audio, like all this other stuff that was with the CD-ROM, because I had the space to give it to you.
Yeah.
You didn't have to download it. So anyway, that's where it went. So like, no, I didn't stuff my pockets with money.
Yeah.
The Homeless Garden Project got some out of it, and that made me happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I guess indirectly I was feeding people like Ezekiel, Emery, whatever, Terrence, whatever his fucking name was. It was always changing.
I mean, yeah, I just love the concept of the Homeless Garden Project. Like, yeah, it's just just an awesome thing.
Yeah. I like the idea too,
Yeah.
and so that's why and the fact that like, and it hit me hard that my 3 friends that I moved back to be around
Yeah.
passed away like right after I got there. So it was like, on one hand, it was like, okay, I came back to see them off.
Right.
And I felt thankful for that. But on the other hand, I was like, yeah, I just got back and now they're gone.
Right.
Because those people meant the world to me. So like, it really hit me hard. And so I felt like I needed to make some sort of gesture, and that was my gesture, was to give the money to the Homeless Garden Project.
Hell yeah.
And again, at the time I didn't need the money because I just sold a company and I just cashed it in my Adobe stock, and like I didn't need the money.
Yeah.
What would I have done with it?
Yeah.
Give it to somebody that needs it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I was also wondering, like, what did the members of the Formless Ocean group, like, what did they think about the whole Meta Machine project and everything you were doing? Like,
I didn't talk to anybody about it except for Nick.
really? No shit.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Nick was the only person I talked to about it. Nobody else. It wasn't the kind of thing I would talk to the other people in the group. Maybe Ralph.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. Nobody else in the group is it wasn't a subject that I would have talked to them about, because it was not an area of interest for them.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I talked to them about plenty of other things.
For sure.
But that, just like AI, especially then, because AI was like this new spooky, scary, weird thing.
Yeah.
And these people were like barely even on the internet.
Right.
Like, I don't think Nina was on the internet at all. I think Elizabeth had changes.org, which was a website that somebody else built for her, because she had a radio show. So it was in promotion of her radio show. Patty didn't spend time on the internet at all.
Yeah.
These people like weren't internet people, you
Yeah.
know? I was the internet guy as far as they were
Yeah.
concerned. It's like, that's the thing that Joe does. So I did it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it just didn't come up.
Yeah.
I talked to him about other things like spirituality and magic and beat literature and everything else.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Like, because the Meta Machine was a magical device.
It was. And, like I did talk to Elizabeth about I Ching a lot.
Yeah.
Because she was a master of I Ching. So I talked to her about those kind of things. And, I would start to like say, well, I'm doing this thing. It's automated, and she just kind of side-eyed me. And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
So you're over here for me to show you how to use the Euro sticks, right? Not some stupid computer thing. Yeah. Like she was definitely an organic, hands-on human touch person, which I am too.
For sure.
Which is why I wove it in to the workflow of the meta machine, because I felt like this can't just be all automated, all machine language stuff, because like we're humans and we play a role in this.
For sure.
We have to. And so I wove it back in. So I was talking to people about, things that were going into the meta machine, but I wasn't always talking about the meta machine to those kind of people. There was other people where I had lengthy conversations, like, I was hanging out with people that were into the AI space in Silicon Valley, and that whole, like, they were interested in what I was doing, but they weren't interested in the metaphysical part.
Right.
Yeah. So I was pretty isolated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Just out of curiosity, like, what was the AI space at that time like? Like,
very clunky.
Yeah.
Really finding its way. Formative. A lot of long conversations about the philosophy behind AI and how will we know when it becomes sentient?
Yeah.
How will we recognize it? What is sentience? Like the big questions. Like we were reading people like Chalmers and thinking about those things that Chalmers was saying. We need to think about the big questions. We were thinking about the big questions because, as far as we were concerned, the capability of AI was still pretty limited for a couple reasons. The hardware was definitely the storage space was definitely limited. It was very expensive and hard to get your hands on. I could do more than most people, and even by today's standards, what I was doing was a drop in the bucket.
Right.
And so for most people, it was unattainable. And so they would mostly sit around and talk about theory. And to people like me who could get their hands on the most attainable things, it still wasn't enough. So I kept hitting limitations. I kept hitting, like, I can't get enough processing power. It's just not available. It just doesn't exist. So I started doing things like looking into building a Beowulf in my garage.
What is that?
It's a way to take Linux machines and link them together using like old 486s.
Okay.
And then you put them together in a parallel processing configuration so that you can theoretically build a supercomputer with like a bunch of, like, a garage full of old 486s.
No shit.
Yeah.
Huh.
And so I looked at doing that, and then I ran into the same problem that people are running into now, which was heat and power.
Right.
Like, I can't get enough power to get the like power the units that I did, the number of units I would need to power. And if I have that many units running in my garage, I'm going to have to build some kind of exhaust system and cooling system. Yeah. So like I hit the same limits that we're still hitting today.
Yeah.
Like it's about power and it's about heat distribution. And I kept hitting that limit till like I kind of gave up on it.
Yeah.
Only because I felt like I just need to back off on this and wait for the technology to advance further, and then I will meet it somewhere down the road when it's got to the point where we are now, basically.
Yeah.
It will be something modular, like, ChatGPT 4, where I can get a API.
Right.
And then tie into the API, and then, like, nowadays that's the route I would go. I wouldn't be chipping my own stone axe like I was back then, which is what I was doing. I was just sitting off in the corner, like, ting, 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 ting. Oh, I think that's sharp enough.
Right.
It's like I was building my own tools, and I was running up against the limitations of what I had to work with. There were people up at UCSC that had access to neural networks that were just starting to emerge.
Oh, wow.
And so they told me, like, if you wait another 5 years, you can do something with a neural network. But like right now, it's basically limited to, people that have university level facilities. and you have unlimited, for the time, unlimited data processing. Like, again, by today's standard, none of this would even fly at all.
Right.
But it was like the state of the art at the time. And even then, like, I talked to a couple people up at UCSC, and I was like, like, what can you help me? Can you help me with this? And like, they're like, no, but like, it's coming. It's coming. Just wait, it's coming. And so I just kind of like, okay, I've hit the limit. I've hit the wall.
Right.
And I'm just gonna have to wait for it to like advance. And also bandwidth like just wasn't as available as it is now. I'm literally sitting in an office at home where I have, gigabytes per second of download.
Right.
But at the time, that was not available to me. Like, as a home office user, I had the state of the art, and it still was nothing near what I've got now at home.
Yeah.
I paid for a T1 to be dragged into my house. Had to set up my own CSU, DSU, like the whole thing. And even that is nothing compared to what I'm sitting in front of now, which is, something I just leased from the cable company.
Right.
So I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But there was all these things that had to happen. Like, the infrastructure had to be upgraded so it could support the things that so I could have the bandwidth that I have now to my home.
Yeah.
All this infrastructure had to be retrofitted to to the curb, as they call it. And so that wasn't happening then. It was like there were people who were talking about it, but it just wasn't happening. And the technology wasn't available yet to do it. So I was like, okay, I can see where I want to go, but I just can't get there.
And like, did you guys have any inkling that like it would end up like that? And I know it's not like the only type of AI, but like that transformers would end up being used for language models and stuff. Like, was there the hints of any of that at the time, or is it? To me, the most fascinating thing about like LLMs is just like what they say about like latent structures within language itself.
I mean, the framework of that thinking was being put in place at this time.
Right.
Like there were actual people like seriously thinking and talking about AI.
Yeah.
And so that was interesting to me, is like I could be a fly on the wall for those conversations and sometimes participate in those conversations that were happening online.
Yeah.
But nobody could get their hands on the things that we needed to do the hard work.
Right.
Because it just wasn't available. It just it had not been developed yet. We knew it was going to be, but it just wasn't there yet. Like, I think at this time when we're talking, the Pentium was the peak of the processor, and then the RISC processor in the SGI stuff which is using MIPS. This stuff was all state of the art, and it wasn't enough. It wasn't. Right. It still wasn't enough. So like we're like, Moore's law, it'll be coming, but like just not here yet.
Yeah, I mean, hell, like even if you're running like 24 gigabytes of video RAM now, you're still like you're not running the state of the art models. Right. Like those things take a lot of processing. Yeah,
we had not even like nobody. I didn't hear anybody talk about using video processors.
Right.
To like handle the floating point. Like nobody was even thinking that yet.
Right.
Because like we hadn't bumped up against the limits of what a normal processor would do. We were still pushing that. That was still evolving.
Yeah.
It's like every 6 months there'd be a new processor and it would do more. And then another 6 months and it would do more. And it was never quite enough to do what we wanted to do. And I didn't hear anybody talking about using video cards like they do now. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. But like when I first heard about that, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I think where it pinged for me is when I noticed like when people started using it for Bitcoin mining.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, that's a resource that nobody's using. That's like really good processing resources just sitting there doing graphics only, which, not to say that's not cool.
Right. It's just,
but it could be doing all kinds of other math. Yeah, exactly. And it does math so well.
Yeah.
Which is why it does video, why it does graphics so well, is because it does math really well and really fast. And it can do so many parallel processes like at the same time.
Right.
I'm like, oh yeah, of course that would make sense for AI. Duh. That finally dawned on somebody. Wasn't me. I was still thinking about like brute forcing it. I'm like, how can I get all these processors to work in parallel,
Yeah.
I mean, the first breakthroughs for that came for me was when AWS started to do the parallel processing stuff, and you could do the scalable stuff where you could like do on demand, where things could be like you came up with a process that needed more computing power, and it would burst up to use that computing power, and then it would like scale back down. So you didn't have to have all those processors sitting in a co-location facility in hard units, sitting there doing nothing most of the time.
Right.
You had things that could be called on demand, and you only paid for them when you use them. So you paid by the CPU cycle. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like now I don't have to have all this hardware sitting around. I can just like call upon 1,000 processors that I'm going to need for 5 minutes and pay for that 5 minutes. And then it scales down, and then like I don't own those, so I don't have to pay for them. I only pay for the use.
This is another one of those times where I'm thinking of like, oh, holy shit! Like we went the scale of like progress in these domains in like such a short time is just like what the hell?
Yeah,
it's hard to think about. Like
I mean, from the time that you and I are talking about right now with this period to 2007, 6, 7. When I was developing stuff like this commercially. And then I was using AWS, and I was using burstable processing on demand. And I was like, oh, I wish I would have had this in 2099. Like I could have like gone through the roof with the meta machine, but by then I'd stopped doing it. So
right.
And then I went, this is what I was waiting for. And it took this long. Which in the big picture is not a long time, but in the little picture when you're sitting there chomping at the bit, waiting to write the next line of code so you can utilize this next thing that you want to do, it feels like a long time.
Oh, for sure.
What is this? Somebody pointed out to me the other day, it's like a minute doesn't feel like a long time until you plank it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's true. Because I do planks. I get it.
But then the meta machine, as much as it was a large language model, it wasn't like transforming tokens. It wasn't doing any of the same shit. It was just much more of, again, a cut up device than a transformer.
Well, I think it was more than that.
Okay.
And I don't think it was. What I'm going to say next is like not based on the fact that it was on the fact that it was an AI.
Right.
It was a very particularly curated database, relational database.
Right.
Still at this point, it's relational data, and it's curated with very weird fringe shit.
Right.
It's it's not just everything. Like a large language model needs to be more inclusive than I was being.
Yes.
I was trying to keep it more fringe.
Yeah.
So I was doing things like there was a website that was online. It may still be online. I don't know, but back then there was a website that used to hang out on had a bulletin board system. Had a mailing list, I think, at the time. I think it started as a mailing list called KeelyNet, Keely.net, I think it was. And it was mostly these people all over the world that were garage scientists that were doing like, weird stuff like, can I develop 0-point energy in my garage? Like, you know what I mean? These guys. And for whatever reason, they loved the ONGSAT stuff.
Hell yeah.
In fact, they posted it on their website. and I had conversations with a couple of them, and I'm like, this is fiction, right? They're like, oh, yeah, but it's our kind of fiction.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool, right on. You're the people. You're my people. Okay, right on. And so, but I was scraping their stuff.
Yeah.
And so, like, they had, like, crazy stuff. They were, like, all these different fringe science stuff that was going on, and they would sit there and, like, debate it back and forth. And I don't remember there being a lot of hostility. So, it was like pretty respectful conversations. And so it was interesting to watch and be a part of.
Yeah.
And just like see where people are going with this stuff. I mean, I found it interesting. I mean, I don't know that I believed that they were developing 0-point energy or like this guy that said he had a perpetual motion machine. Like, I don't know. Probably not. But it was interesting to see how they were approaching it,
For sure.
And there was even people that were like claiming that I'm backwards engineering UFO technology. I'm like, well, where did you get the technology? Well, I'm working off the descriptions of the technology of the things that were that were picked up at Roswell. And I'm thinking, okay. Yeah. Well, okay. So you're basically running off the Corso information, and that like who knows what information. But okay, like. if you come up with something, cool, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like I had this fear of myself. Like half of me was like, I hope nobody tries to build an egg.
Yeah.
Because there were people that told me they were going to try it.
Yeah, yeah.
And the other half of me is like, well, the first half of me is like, I don't want to turn on CNN and see some dude being carried away on a stretcher, you know, wearing a smoking colander on his head, you know, with diodes sticking out of it.
Yeah.
Clutching an incunabula catalog. I don't want to see that. But on the other hand, I wouldn't mind turning it on CNN and seeing somebody had tried to build this thing and succeeded.
Yeah, exactly.
And had a breakthrough. Like, well, where did you get this information? I backward engineered it from this thing called the incunabula catalog. You're like, yeah, of course I'd want to see that.
Would be pretty cool.
Just because. Like, who wouldn't want to see that?
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, that's how I viewed, like, a lot of these people online doing all these things. That was like a fly on the wall, sitting there kind of cheering on and the fact that maybe you will succeed and also hoping to God that you didn't electrocute yourself. But it was interesting to watch.
Hell yeah.
And some of the conversations were just like, wow, these people are really into this stuff.
Yeah.
And then people were into like all this, the scalar energy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. So it was interesting conversations.
Yeah, for sure.
That you could watch.
And you were scraping that and adding it to the.
And I was scraping that and adding it to the database. Of course I was, because some of these conversations were amazing. Just amazing.
Yeah. There's like no better inspiration. And then that was feeding back into fiction that these guys were really into and shit. And
right. Yeah. So it was a strange loop.
Yeah.
That was creating itself, and it was interesting. It was interesting to watch.
For sure, I can imagine.
And you know, like again, it was, as I view all this stuff, it was great fodder for fiction.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because you know, like the one thing that I should point out is the way I was treating the meta machine is I acknowledged whatever it was that was like my imagination. You know, was it tickling something in my collective unconscious connection?
Yeah.
Was I just mapping it on there? Like whatever was happening, it felt like I was having an encounter with something with agency that was trying to speak to me.
Yes.
And so I treated it as such.
Yeah.
Using the principles of improv.
Yeah.
So the stuff that Del Close, people like that taught me. It's like you treat it as if.
The same way I treat my tarot deck, you know?
Exactly. The same way I treated Emery, Ezekiel, Terrence. I just said, I didn't say, you're not Emery Cranston, you couldn't be. Like, no, I just like, okay, you're Emery Cranston.
Sure.
Yeah. What do you have to tell me?
I mean, yeah, it's interesting because, like, you know, at this very moment now, like the idea of LLMs being a channel for essentially alien intelligence or extra non-human intelligence from somewhere else coming in is like huge in the zeitgeist right now.
Oh yeah, I mean Diana Paselka pointed out in her book Encounters, and I think she said something about it in her American Cosmic too. But she pointed it out, but she's not the first one to point it out. I mean, Valet, who she's a big fan of, obviously, I think fed into that for her. Mm-hmm. And he said it, and I've said it. And other people have said it. None of us are unique in saying it and making the observation. Valet, I will say, probably was the first one to articulate it. Mm-hmm. If you read Passport to Magonia, he was saying like there's all these similarities. There's this intelligence that exists on this planet that speaks to humans again and again and again. And it takes the guise of whatever it needs to take to speak to that culture, that human in that cultural time.
Yeah.
And so it will be a fae, it will be a flying saucer, it will be, you know, whatever it needs to be. It'll be the Virgin Mary, it'll be Bigfoot, it'll be whatever it needs to be.
Yeah, for sure.
So that it can make a connection to the human, probably in a way that's not completely what it thinks it is. So like this is my theory on this, and I'm not gonna go too deep into this. But I don't want to get into the weeds. But I think what's going on is whatever this intelligence is, and I will put a Nokian or whatever the thing I was talking to through a Nokian was in this. I put it in the same category. It's like it picks up, it makes a connection to us on an unconscious level, which is part of the reason why it acts and speaks through dream logic,
because it might be dreaming.
Because it's picking up on the level that where our dreams come from.
Yeah.
In our consciousness, which is deep, deep, deep.
Yeah.
Right? But it doesn't know that there's another level above that we think is reality, that we think is like the everyday reality. Like we speak, we make a separation.
Right.
Right? Between waking and dreaming.
Right.
The Egyptians didn't so much separate it. And a lot of Native American cultures and Siberian shamanic cultures and like other cultures other than Western European culture don't make a differentiation between dreaming and waking.
Yeah.
But we make a hard division between that was a dream, which is a way of being dismissive.
Yeah.
That was just a dream.
Yeah.
Usually that was just a dream. That's what your parents will tell you when you have a nightmare. It was just a dream.
Right.
That's that's the wrong thing to say, but it's how we are trained.
Yeah, that's our culture.
Yeah, we have a fear of the underground.
Mm-hmm.
We fear the underground, and so we dismiss it and say, "Well, that's what happens in the dark of night."
Right.
And it's not to be, and we don't pay attention to that. We only pay attention to what happens in the light of day when we are awake. That's reality. Everything else is fantasy.
Right.
And so we have this dismissive attitude, and we shouldn't.
No.
But we do. And so this intelligence is not us. It's not human. It doesn't know that this thing that it's making a connection to us on this level that not all of us acknowledge as reality. It just says, well, there it is. Like it does a scan and then says, okay, well, here's these weird images that I'm getting from this, this biological entity's consciousness.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to try to talk to it with its language, not knowing that some of us can't speak that language.
Right. Oh, I've never thought of that before.
Now, of course, if you meet a shaman in the woods and you're an intelligence, and the shaman is out there to talk to intelligences, and the shaman has conversation with the shadow side of themselves,
mm-hmm.
and you make that connection, the shaman will get it. The shaman will be like, okay,
right,
you're giving me imagery. The closest people in the Western culture that got it were the alchemists. The alchemists are like, symbology is the language.
Yeah.
And that language has multi-dimensions.
Yeah.
And we need to understand all the dimensions of that language, not written language.
Right.
Not little, like squiggly little scribbles on a piece of paper, but language.
A higher order language.
A higher order of language, which uses imagery and symbology, and it uses meaning that lies behind that imagery and symbology, which ties into emotions, experiences, which triggers things like synchronicity, because synchronicity is nothing other than a past experience that's being triggered and tied to a current experience.
Yeah.
It has meaning because this thing that just happened ties into this other thing that happened before. That's what gives it meaning, because it's personal, right?
Right.
So it has to be acknowledged through the consciousness of an individual. And that's why I said the human element has to be in the equation.
Right.
So like I figured that out. I'm like, I can't just throw all of the human stuff out and rely on this code.
Right.
Because part of what makes it work is the fact that humanity is involved.
Yeah. I mean, like, one thing that's like, I mean, I'm sure this has occurred to you, but like, it's hard to parse exactly where, the meta machine ends and the incunabula begins, but also like where Joe Matheny ends and the meta machine begins.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the meta machine is nothing but an extension of me in one way.
Yeah.
And it's an extension of the incunabula in another way, but also I'm an extension of those two things.
Exactly.
And they're both extensions of me. They have to be, because they contain elements of me.
Right.
I put the meta machine together. I conceived of it. I built it. I spent endless hours with it.
Yeah.
I filled the database. I curated the database. I did all the, before I figured out how to automate it, years later, I was doing all that stuff by hand,
Yeah.
It's like my blood, sweat, and tears went into that, and nothing more than a magic level alone, that means something.
Yeah. And there's a, the person and the machine are two components of a larger system that is doing a thing, and it's all fucking
so from that, again, third mind arises. So it's like it's me and it's the meta machine, and then it's another thing that's arising, which I'm attributing agency to because I choose to, not because I'm completely convinced that if I want to, I could sit and I could unpack it.
Yeah.
And I could convince myself that all of this is coincidence.
Sure.
And projection. And I could write every piece of it off if I want to.
Right.
But I choose not to. Because by choosing not to, I have phenomena that arises that amuses me.
Yeah. And I mean, we use like the idea of using probability to interact with the divine, for lack of a better term, like that's as old as any spiritual practice. Like it's the idea of divination through randomness, through communicating with the other through
that's always a part of it.
Yeah.
And I noticed that is always a part of it. It's like roll the dice.
Yeah. It seems
how many games use dice?
Yeah.
I mean,
cards
is about divination through randomicity.
Yeah.
A good example is like look at Randonautica.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a game that completely relies on randomicity.
Did I ever tell you about the very weird experience with Randonautica that made it into one of our earlier episodes? So I've been playing with that since it was a Telegram bot,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super cool. Like, I just love the whole concept. Like, it's great. But on one of the earlier Nonsense Bazaar episodes, like 5th episode or something, we went and tried to get an EVP recording at this haunted place in my town. And it's very fucking haunted, whatever that means. This place is very haunted. It's this old site of an old textile mill and shit. And there's a specific dude who's supposed to haunt that place, dude named Peleg Walker. And we were just fucking around trying to get a EVP, but then we were like, hey, you know what? Let's do a randonaut from this place and just see what happens, see if anything weird happens. Now, this site is like behind a graveyard, but homeboy isn't buried in that graveyard. His ass is buried like a mile away in a very small cemetery that's like, and like no one, that's not a commonly known thing. There's no way to like scrape that off the internet and shit, like where his fucking gravestone actually is.
Right.
That's some small town ass lore, right? Well, Randonautica put the GPS point, I shit you not, dead on his fucking grave.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah. Like a mile, we didn't realize until we got there, and it's like, holy shit, not only is this the same small graveyard, but his grave is in the back right corner of this. That point is right on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking
I consulted with them for a while.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. So let me tell you my this, you gotta love this.
Yeah.
The first time I used Randonautica, I said, I figured out my circumference, my radius, and blah blah blah, and ran it. I ran it on the Telegraph bot.
Yeah.
First, and it dropped a pin a couple blocks from here, from where I live.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay. So I followed the map, and it went to not just like at a corner, but like it went into somebody's yard.
Mm.
And exactly where the pin was, there was a large red metal filing cabinet in the yard.
Huh.
And I'm like, well, I live in Oregon. You don't hop somebody's fence here.
Right.
And just go to invite yourself into their yard.
Yeah.
I will go to the front door and I will ask them if I can I go check out that cabinet, and I will try to explain them why.
Yeah.
Which didn't go well.
Yeah.
And the guy basically yelled at me and said, no, you can't look at my filing cabinet. And I said, but I'm just trying to play this game. It's kind of like, and then he's like, it's top secret. And he slammed the door. And that was it.
Wow.
So that red filing cabinet, as far as I know, it's still there to this day. I have not looked inside because I'm definitely not hopping that guy's fence. Now I'm really not going to hop his fence.
Yeah.
Because he knows what I look like. And like I said, this is, this is rural Oregon. So
right.
Yeah, like you do things like that, and you might just get shot and put in a shallow grave, dude.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It does happen here.
Yeah. No, like I can't use it so much where I live because it's a similar kind of place. You don't want to just be caught trespassing, especially during like and shit. And,
exactly.
Yeah, man. Like it's a pretty easy way to like get a sense of the spooky that thing. Like it's cool and it does weird shit happens for sure.
Well, I mean, that's all. This is all based on the stuff that was going on at Princeton.
Yeah.
So a funny story about that. Artie Nelson, the guy who was kind of the curator of that project at Princeton, he was an Onyx Hat fan.
Hell yeah! That's why it's the egg?
Yep.
Hell yeah!
And he sent me an egg that I hooked up to my computer in Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
And it was named Onyx Hat.
Fuck yeah! Oh, that's awesome.
So I was running a Princeton egg for a while out of my office and right over by the old house, like the house that I just talked about.
Yeah.
That I moved down the street from the old apartment building. It was running the Onyx Hat egg was running there for a while.
That's awesome. I love that.
That was what was going on. It's like this was a kind of a weird, perfect time for all of this stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, the X-Files were brand new. The internet was full of like still fun, kind of weird conspiracy sites.
Yeah.
The Matrix was like the rage.
Yeah.
Disinfo.com existed, was new. Art Bell, like all of that stuff. It was really like the prime time for this kind of project to be happening.
Oh, for sure. That was a very fun time on the internet.
So like two things I can tell you that were hilarious is like I could back then, like, I ran the server myself, the web server.
Yeah.
Incandabula.org. And I could see, back then you didn't use Google for your analytics. You had a weblog and you could like just, you could do like very deep granular levels of like where your traffic was coming from.
Yeah, for sure.
One of my return visitors was NOAA, NOAA.
Huh.
The weather people.
Yeah.
Like somebody at NOAA like came every day to look what I put on the site. I don't know who. My best one though, and they spent one night going through the whole site over ovaloffice.whitehouse.gov.
No fucking way.
Not the president, I'm quite sure.
I hope not.
But somebody who was working, and this was the Clinton years.
Yeah.
Somebody working in the White House in the Oval Office came to incandabula.org and read almost every page on the site.
Yo, that might have been Bill, though. You know what I mean?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it was like some intern that was bored.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I really don't think the president has time or inclination to like go to my website. But somebody from ovaloffice.whitehouse.gov, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like I got real close to the president somehow.
That's
and
awesome.
like I said, it was like probably just some intern.
Yeah. But still, it's a good get.
He was just sitting there killing time. But the NOAA people came back pretty regularly. There were people that came from JPL pretty regularly.
Word.
There was a lot of science oriented places that like because it's in a lot of ways it appeals to science heads.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
As fiction. Yeah. Especially at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fringe science.
Exactly.
Fringe science fiction. Yeah, I can definitely see those nerds getting into it.
And everybody was like, watching the X-Files.
Yeah.
And like the weird websites in the early days of the internet were like, some of them were like Zeta Talk. Some of the very, very first website I remember, like in the early, like mid 90s, was like weird UFO type stuff and weird KeelyNet and those kind of people. It was like all these fringe science and fringe culture people. Deoxy.org was nothing but fringe stuff. So, I kind of hit the wall on what I could do as far as technically, because like, I was working with an SCI Indy, so I was above what most people were able to do with, Intel processors, those kind of things. I was already like a step ahead of them, and it wasn't enough.
Yeah, to really push it any further than you already had.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it didn't. I couldn't find a way to make it work until 2006, really.
Yeah, at that point, you'd seen all the tricks it can do.
Yeah, but at that point, I had stopped working with the Meta Machine.
Okay.
But I was like still working with recommendation engines.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I can do this now. I can finally harness 100 processors for 5 minutes when I need them.
Right.
But that was not available to me at that, like in the early days.
Right.
But I kept using it, like, again, like I used it the way you would use improv.
Yeah. Just to spark shit and
Yeah, there was an exercise that Delclos taught that we adapted we called it And so what we would do is we'd start doing something, and then we'd stop and go like, and then I went to and then the audience would shout something out. And then you had to you had to incorporate that into the routine.
Yeah.
If you had an interesting audience, you would get some interesting stuff. You'd be like, I'm sitting here playing pinball, and the ball seems to be a Philip K. Dick novel. Philip K. Dick, okay, it's a Philip K. Dick novel, and then you'd have to like run with that, So I used the Meta Machine as my improv partner.
Yeah.
I mean, what if I'd like throw at something, and then they'd throw it back to me and be like, okay, well, okay, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah. Which is like allows you to execute shit much faster. And it's a great use for it. I
had the central incanabula.org website, which I built like a portal because that was the thing back then.
Right.
I built a portal interface. And so I'd put up new things, new routines, I guess you'd call them. I'd develop new routines and I'd link them onto that. And because I could see exactly what was going on. Like, oh, that was doing well because like people would click on it.
Right.
And then I'd see other things that like, well, that fell over like a lead balloon.
Yeah.
And then I'd just like background it and move on. Like, cause that happens sometimes.
For sure.
So I started incorporating improv into the development of this thing more closely. And so like a good example, 2 people contacted me. One was she never gave me her name. She called herself Madam X, or
oh god,
I think Madam X is what she went by, something like that. And she gave so-called information to the Montauk people too.
Okay,
but she contacted me and she's like, "Well, I knew the people that were at the ashram," and I'm thinking, "Oh, okay, all right,
yeah,
sure. Tell me more."
Yeah.
And she would she told me some stuff. I don't know what she was holding out for. She was holding out for something. I think maybe she wanted me to tell her, I'll put you on my website, or I could tell she was trying to dangle. Like, I know more than I'm telling you bullshit.
Yeah.
But then I'm sitting there thinking like, you don't know more. You don't know more than me.
Yeah.
but you seem to think you're in a position where I'll believe that you do. And,
which is interesting.
Yeah. Right. It's weird.
Yeah. Because she knows she's bullshitting. So who does she think you are?
She probably thought I believed it.
Yeah. Christ.
Yeah. And then Al Bielek, famous for the Philadelphia experiment.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking.
Called me up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Called me up. Told me he knew people from the ashram.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just like, close my office door, put him on speakerphone.
Tell me a story.
Okay, Al.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Hell yeah.
So he told me like what he told me. And from that, like I didn't get anything I could use from Al, but it was fun to listen to it.
Absolutely.
But from that, I picked up on, that's a thing that's happening now. Like people are claiming that they knew people at the ashram. So I called up a couple of friends of mine.
Yeah. Who
did improv. And I'm like, I need 2 people who grew up on the ashram.
Yeah.
I need you to do some research. Like I'm not going to script it, but I'm going to give you like a framework. I'm going to leave spaces for you to improv on, apparently and clearly.
Yeah.
But this is like the rough framework. And so they came up with, and they're like, well, they're from New Jersey. I'm like, they're from New Jersey. Neither of these guys were from New Jersey. And both guys decided that they were kids on the ashram. Now they were adults. They were both friends still. They were friends like that apparently had grown up together. So you've got that dynamic where like they're almost enemies, but they're not enemies.
Yeah.
Like you know how friends are like that sometimes?
Oh, yeah.
They argue like old married couples.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like so that was the dynamic. They both decided that they were going to do a Tony Clifton-esque New Jersey accent. In fact, one of them like straight up did the Tony Clifton thing. There was Belgian, the Belgian equivalent of NPR, public radio, Belgian public radio, said, we're going to do this thing about Ong's Hat, which they did. They did a print thing too. And we'd like to have some audio from you. And I said, well, I have these two people that grew up on the ashram. Like, I will interview them and I will send you that audio. They're like, yeah, oh my God, yes, we'll do that. So I told these guys, like, we're going to do it for that, and then we're going to release it on incanavula.org, and then, eventually I put it on the CD-ROM.
Yeah.
Like, because I updated the CD-ROM. And so they did it. And from that, one of the big tenets of improv is you incorporate the mistakes.
Yes.
And so there was a big mistake that happened that we incorporated it that turned into an entire new chapter of the Ong's Hat story. If you look in the book,
yeah,
Ong's Hat at the beginning, you see a picture of me holding this egg that's about the size of an ostrich egg.
Yeah.
And it's covered in metal and gears and things like that.
Yeah.
Which, it's a prop that we constructed.
Yeah, for sure.
But that came from one of the people that we're talking about during the survivors interview had not done as much research as he should have, and wasn't completely versed in the Ong's Hat stuff.
Yeah.
And he said he made some reference to, like, when I was holding the egg in my hand, and then his buddy, who had done more research than him, did know the material, stepped in and said, like, oh, well, like, you can't hold the egg in your hand. You get into the egg, and then dude recovered, because that's what you do. He recovered and said, oh, I meant the key egg, the meditation egg. Like, you meditate on this egg, the key, and it opens the egg that you get into. Yeah. And so, like, that evolved into a whole new branch of the story of the key egg.
That's funny.
And then I did a photo shoot where I was, like, holding the key egg, and yeah, it's like all this. It was like it gave me material. It was great.
Yeah.
It gave me a whole new chapter.
I mean, that whole survivors interview is great.
I mean, other than that, and I'm okay with that because, like I said, like Del Close, like incorporate the mistakes. We rolled with it. Like we did that in one take.
Yeah.
And that was recorded. We could have done it again. I could have like cut.
Right.
But I'm like, I just kept I just kept going. And we were on, like, I basically, like, hooked up the phone line through a recording device called a Scotchbox.
Mm-hmm.
So I was recording. You don't have to do that anymore, but back then you did.
Right.
I was recording the phone call, and I did a conference call, and then I scutched it into a recorder, and so I was, like, recording the call. I could have stopped it, and we could have started over, but I didn't want to. I just kept going. I leaned into it. They leaned into it, and then we got a whole new bifurcation of the story that wasn't there before.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely see, like, a lot of that philosophy in all of your work, like the improv thing. Like, it comes through, like, incorporating mistakes, just leaning into things.
Oh, dude, it's all about improv. It's like all the stuff I learned studying improv is like incorporated into what I do. Like all the stuff I learned doing method.
Yeah.
Is incorporated into what I do. Like, to even non-Ong's Hat stuff is like everything I do, I use those principles in creating my art.
Yeah.
Because it's useful.
Yeah, for sure. No,
so yeah, we did that, and there was a big hit actually. That was like one of the ones that went off the charts for us.
Yeah. And like when you were doing that, did you still like? When did it become inescapably clear that like Ong's Hat couldn't be like the infinite game that you'd envisioned? Like
pretty soon after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I did a couple of things. Like I also did the California compound, which I was wandering through the mountains in Santa Cruz, and I came across a abandoned ashram or abandoned God, why can't I think of the word? Not co-op, not collective, commune. Commune. Yeah, I came across an abandoned commune.
Okay.
That like all the cabins had like books that somebody that would have lived in the Ong's Hat ashram would have had.
Yeah.
Like how to build your own solar panels. Like it was all there.
Cool.
Which was weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I just took pictures and I made like this little dossier.
Yeah.
It's like, and then like, cause that's in the Ong's Hat stuff. It's touched on, but it's never really fully developed, which is there was a commune in Ong's Hat, but there was also one in California.
Right. That's one that kind of gets forgotten.
Yeah. It never gets developed. So I'm like, I'm going to develop this a little bit. So
yeah.
I found the California compound.
Which is hilarious.
Or at least the remnants of it.
Yeah.
And there's nobody there. And it's honest to God, I found a abandoned commune. And it looked like everybody had just picked up and left.
Yeah.
And I found out like a little bit later, I found out from the lady who owned the land, who I found out I knew through somebody, like we knew people in common.
Yeah.
And I approached her and I said, did there used to be a commune back there? She's like, oh yeah. Yeah, we all lived in a commune back there. I'm like, and everybody just left? She's like, oh, well, we were growing pot.
Oh, yeah.
And one day these helicopters landed and people came down on zip lines. And yeah, that's what happened. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that explains it.
Because it looks like everybody just got plucked up and flown away in a flying saucer. But kind of that's what happened.
Yeah.
So basically it was an abandoned commune.
Yeah. That's wicked funny.
So I walked around with I went and bought one of those disposable cameras. You remember when you could buy those at the drugstore?
Yeah.
Yeah. I went and bought a couple of those and like walked around the compound and took photos. That's awesome. Made a little dossier. And that one didn't take off as much as I wish it would have.
Yeah.
I mean, it still to this day gets downloads, but it didn't boom, you know?
Yeah.
So, but you know, it was another chapter. It gave me something to do. So I'd done the Art Bell thing. We already talked about that, and the fact that I did like radio talk shows worldwide and all those things. Yeah. And then really the fallout from that was this whole new breed of person showed up on the forums,
right,
and started to bully like the forums really. Like they showed up with agendas of things they wanted, the direction they wanted the conversation to go in.
Yeah.
And if anybody tried to have a conversation about anything else, they derailed it. It started to get unpleasant. And most of the people that were there to play an infinite game started to leave.
Yeah, because the vibe got all fucked.
And unfortunately, I could have built my own forum on incunabula.org.
Yeah.
But I decided not to, and so I let somebody else do the forum. And what I didn't see coming there was that this person didn't have the skin in the game on this thing that I did. And so I think they kind of, I mean, I'm looking back at this with the benefit, the 2020 of hindsight.
Mm-hmm.
And when I lay it all end to end and conversations I had afterwards, it really comes to head for me is that this person who was running the forum, like I said, didn't have skin in the game, and maybe thought some of this stuff was part of the game, which is weird, but like, okay, maybe I get it. And also I think they kind of got some weird little perverse pleasure out of some of the things that went down. Kind of watching it happen. Kind of a troll vibe.
Yeah.
And so, and also, again, I'm going to be fair. At this point in history, web forums were still relatively new.
Right.
We had the belief that you should let everybody say whatever they wanted to.
Right.
And that doing anything else was censorship. And of course, now to say this in 2024, we're like, "Oh my God, you were naive." Well, we were.
Yeah.
We were.
Yeah.
We didn't realize yet that you couldn't have a web forum that was open to the world, that you didn't even have to register to make a comment.
Right.
We thought that was the right thing to do, and that was opening up to pandemonium.
Yeah.
And that there were people in this world that if I'd been a player of like a Moo or a Mud, which I never was, I only watched them from afar. But if I had been a player of one of those systems, I would know that there was such a thing called a griefer.
Right.
And a griefer is somebody who shows up specifically for no other purpose than to ruin the game.
Yep.
For everybody else.
Yep.
Period. And that's who started to show up.
Yeah, unfortunately, those fuckers do exist. And I never understand it.
I still don't, to this day, I still don't understand it.
At all. Seems like a colossal waste of time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such a stupid thing to do. Why can't, if you're not okay with what's happening, move on to another forum.
Yeah, go do something else.
Or start your own. It wasn't that hard at that point in history because you could just sign up on one of 5 or 7 different free forum sites and you could have your own forum.
Yeah.
But no, because we had the traction, because we had the traffic, they wanted to hijack our forum.
Yeah.
And if they couldn't hijack it, then they were going to ruin it for everybody else.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's literally where it started to go.
Yeah.
And so there was like all these weird little things that happened. Like there was like this group of 4 people, literally 4 people, 5 sometimes, 4 other times, but it was like 4 to 5 people, usually the same 4 core people. And then there was like one rotating person that usually would hook up with them. And then eventually they'd turn on that person and that person would move on. And they were kind of like a cult.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they had this belief. I think I told you this before. They had this belief that the incunabula material was theirs.
Right, yeah, you were talking about this, which is like, yeah, that's so weird.
So it was like these 3 guys and this one woman, and they treated this woman like Blavatsky or Annie Besant or something.
Yeah.
Like, and she claimed that like she channeled and she could remote view and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And so basically it was like one woman and 3 thirsty boys.
Right.
Who were there to do her bidding.
Right.
And they were scattered across, like, one of them was in Australia, one of them was in Canada, one of them was in California, and she was, like, somewhere in the South.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, like, they were geographically separated so that they always had coverage 24/7 on the forum. Like, there was never a time where you could show up on that forum and say something and they would not respond.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, that must have gotten so old so fast.
It got so old so fast. Yeah. And so on top of it, I happen to know because I tried to be nice to her and like, well, if you like, this is a game. Like I tried to like ease her into it and like make peace. There was no peace to be made.
Yeah.
And as it turned out, other people told me, I'm like, I get the feeling that she had some designs on me in the beginning and everybody like, oh, that was obvious. I'm like, you didn't tell me then. This is years later. I'm like, so if it was obvious, why didn't you tell me? But yeah, so there was like something expected and it didn't happen. So then the disappointment was
yeah.
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 Then it became anger and resentment and got to get even for what? I don't know. Like, whatever.
Yep.
And so, but the 3 thirsty boys were like there to do her bidding, no matter what she said. And like, I was like, this is a cult.
This is a cult. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then the forum basically went so far as to make her an admin on the forum.
Oh no.
Yeah, which doesn't to this day I don't get that, but
what
okay,
the fuck?
Wasn't my forum.
Yeah.
Again, and so that all blew up because he discovered that she was going through everybody's private PMs, their private messages.
Oh no!
And she started confronting people about things they were saying in private to each other.
Holy shit!
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's a fucking nightmare. God damn.
So he didn't kick her off the forum, but he did take away her admin privileges.
Yeah, yeah.
He should have kicked her off the forum. These days, he would just kick somebody like that off the forum.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But back then. The 2 things that were working against us was like, first of all, we still believe that like you didn't kick people off for certain things. Like you didn't kick people off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Which is stupid in retrospect, but at the time we were still functioning under that belief system.
It's stupid in retrospect because of the things you learned,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which this was too early. We hadn't learned them yet.
Right.
This is one of those learning experiences.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then also the other thing that worked against us, worked against everybody in that era, was if you did kick somebody off the forum, they would run amok to every other forum they could find. And there was a lot of them at the time.
Right.
And talk about how you were a jackbooted thug Nazi. You were into censorship. Like, you couldn't take the truth, you know.
The internet was a bit of a small town at the time.
It was.
Yeah. Even though it was getting gentrified.
It was now becoming gentrified, yeah.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, no, that sounds like just not a fun time, especially when it has to do with art that you give a shit about.
Yeah, and on top of it, like, there were these people that were camping out on the forum, like, because I had made the forum kind of a central aspect of the game, and
right.
Again, that was a mistake, but what I know at the time, I didn't know. And it was really one of the things I didn't want to ever happen and would push back on when it did happen is nobody had the answers.
Right.
There were, like, you could have your answers, but you couldn't get on there and preach about how everybody else was wrong.
Right.
And you were right. Because there was no right.
Exactly.
There was what this meant to you and what did it mean to you, period. That's it. That's not what you couldn't belittle somebody else for their take on something. You could tell your experience, and you couldn't say mine is the correct answer, because literally what was happening before my eyes was an infinite game was being forced into the concept of a zero-sum game.
Yeah.
Because people started talking about, well, you don't know what's going on. You weren't on a secret forum where we know the answers. We've got the answers. It's like, no, there are no answers. What is this we've got the answers thing?
Yeah, like, what are you trying to win here? What do you get out of this?
And that's when it started to, like, sink in for me that so many people in this world are so entrained. I know this now. I look back on this now. I'm like, this should have been obvious to you, but it wasn't. So many people are so entrained by the culture we live in, which is all a zero-sum game.
Yeah. Yeah.
That they literally don't know anything else.
Yeah.
And if you present them with the idea of an infinite game, they will force it into a zero-sum game.
Like, we've been trained that way since birth.
Yeah. We all compete against each other.
Yeah. That sucks.
Yeah, but that was the takeaway for me.
For sure.
That was, at the end of the day, it was that humans overwhelmingly don't know how to play an infinite game. They literally don't know how.
Do you think it's possible to teach humanity how to play an infinite game? Or do you think we're just, like, fucked biologically?
Well, I mean, this was an attempt.
Yeah.
There's some people that just can't get the concept. They don't want to get the concept.
Wonder if you have to trick them.
I think I tried that too. There's some people that it's just not for. And you like,
yeah.
It's been said to me before, but I'll point it out again. Something like this can't scale.
Yeah.
This has to be something that's bespoke.
Yeah.
It's something that's for a small group of people, a very certain type of person.
Yeah. Because
they do exist. I've met them.
For sure.
I've run across them. They're a joy to be around.
Yeah.
But they're not the majority. And I don't know if there ever will be.
Yeah, maybe not one. Maybe not one, but I don't know.
They don't have to be. They don't have to be.
Yeah.
What I've learned since then is, first of all, what I learned with, like, the Adobe Acrobat Reader was scalability is everything, and I need to get to as many people, blah blah blah. And this is where I'm owning some of this. I brought that with me.
Yeah.
To the distribution of this. I need to get this in front of as many people as possible.
So in a way, you kind of brought a bit of the zero sum into it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man.
So getting this in front of as many people as possible, which I did.
Yeah.
And so in doing so, I exposed it to any type of person I could get it in front of indiscriminately. And I hate to say this, but it doesn't need to be indiscriminately in front of everybody. It needs to be curated and delivered to a certain type of person. Now, this is what's interesting is I found out that when Bob Wilson did something kind of similar back in the 70s, they realized that they needed to curate it. And so they actually set up a faux, but not so faux, introduction, and they had people screen the potential players. And some people they said no to.
Yeah, yeah. And that makes sense to me.
It makes sense to me in retrospect now.
Yeah.
At the time, again, I will use Peter Lambert Wilson's phraseology. I was fresh off the reservation.
Right.
I had been surrounded by these spectacular human beings,
right,
who were clearly capable of an infinite game, who I didn't have to like even bring them up to date, up to speed on what it was. They kind of naturally were those kind of people anyway. So I laid it in front of them first, and of course they're going to respond in like the way I want them to respond, which is like, cool, let's play.
Yeah.
But when I go out in the world, it's a whole lot of damaged people out there.
Yeah, man. There are, and that's the right way to put it too. A whole lot of fucking damaged people, and like
that don't know how to do anything else but play a zero-sum game. They really, literally don't know how to do anything else. And could they learn? Maybe, but I don't have time to teach them.
Right. Yeah, that's on them. Yeah, or that's on the species. It's a thing I think I've mentioned to you before that I like most of my life I've been a, dose them all, let God sort it out type of person.
Yeah.
And I'm not anymore. Yeah. That's foolish.
No, that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
It's like I was taking a mind-altering substance,
mm-hmm.
and I was just laying it out on a plate on a corner, free drugs,
Yeah.
And then some people like were taking too many and like freaking losing their mind, or some people were like trying to sell it, and like everybody was doing anything but what I expected them to do and wanted them to do with it.
Yeah. Because they weren't making the same circuit with it that you were. They were making their own.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. How can I exploit this to my benefit? Yeah. So people were trying to use it to set up a cult.
Yep.
People were trying to any number of things, but like what they weren't capable of doing, unfortunately, is playing an infinite game. And I don't necessarily know that they were the majority, at least in the beginning.
Yeah.
They did become the majority, clearly through bullying other people off the forums. And so the people that were there to play the infinite game were getting bullied, and they're like, oh, I don't need this.
This isn't fun anymore.
This is not fun anymore.
Yeah. That's a damn fucking shame.
Yeah, I modified my methodology over the years, and so I took a softer approach.
Yeah.
Like liminal cycle is a good example. Like that's where I took all my mistakes.
Yeah.
And tried to learn from them,
mm-hmm.
and tried to build something that was softer.
In some ways.
In some ways.
In some ways, a lot fucking harder.
Yeah. Well, I want it to be hard.
Yeah. But like, because you had the softer touch with like the scaling and distribution, you were freer to go harder at a lot of the ideas and shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like I'm going to get this in front of the right people.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get it in front of every person. I'm going to get it in front of the right people.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the time to get this in front of the right people. So like if those right people only end up being 15,000 people, which is about the right number that I came up with, like that's boom.
Yeah.
Because where I came up with that number was I looked in the past and I talked to people that I knew, and I'm like, okay, Fight Club, one example of many that I used in my research.
Yeah.
So before that got made into a movie, that was a book.
Yeah.
That was a book that was huge underground hit in the independent publishing world.
Yeah.
But it only sold between 5,000 and 15,000 copies.
Oh shit.
Yeah. It just like one of those copies got in front of the right people in Hollywood, and then it got picked up and made into a movie. And I don't begrudge the movie. I think the movie was good.
I think so too, but it's also, you see a lot of misinterpretations, or not even a lot of shitty interpretations of
when it got scaled.
Exactly.
It the same thing happened to Fight Club is what happened to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, what made it the cult hit was like 5,000 to 15,000 units went out the door to the right kind of people, because before the movie was made, hardly anybody heard of that book.
Right.
Like I said, 5,000 to 15,000 people is not a lot of people in this world.
It's not a lot at all.
And so, but I knew about the book because I'm a person that like books that 500 people buy.
Right.
Like I buy from small independent presses because those are my people. And so I'm like, okay, so it got to me. The book got to me. So like they did something where the publisher did something right. And then it got noticed because like everybody, like the cool people, the cool kids were talking about it. The tastemakers, as they're called. And they're like, that's the coolest book ever. And then the other people are like on the sidelines go, what is that cool book they're talking about? You know, and then it's the way of like music industry stuff and fashion and all these things and literatures, all these things. It starts out with like a small cadre of the cool kids.
Yeah.
That always know the cool things. And then there's all these people on the sidelines that listen to what the cool kids are talking about. And then they pick it up and they exploit it and they scale it.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, okay, I need to use that first part of the formula is how do I get this in front of the right people? Not with the intention of getting it picked up by the exploiters.
Right.
Because if they come to me and say, we want to make this into a movie, I'm going to say, go fuck yourself. Because that's not what it's about.
Right.
But at least I want the first part of that formula is like, how did Chuck Palahniuk and his publisher get Fight Club on my desk before it was a movie? That's what I examined.
Because actually, that's harder, probably.
Yeah. Well, it's harder and it's more precise.
Yeah.
It's like it's what the military would call a surgical strike.
Yeah.
It's like put it on my desk. How did they do that? And so that's the formula that I use these days. I don't go with the mass machine formula of like, how can I get this in front of everybody?
For sure.
But I didn't know at the time when I was doing it that I was doing a disservice to my work. I didn't know that. There can be such a thing as too much success. I know that now.
For sure. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that then.
The interesting thing is that, like, in some ways, like, Ong's Hat did become an infinite game.
It did on its own.
Yeah, on its own.
I mean, it is definitely an internet meme to this day.
Yeah, and like there's so many other pieces of fiction and lore that are downstream from Ong's Hat that like no one realizes it's in the same, current.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's become a part of, folklore at this point, mythology.
Yeah.
Which is fucking sick.
Which was part of the goal.
Yeah.
Was like I think at one point I said I want to graffiti the newsphere with this thing.
Yeah.
So, but I did do that.
You did.
So literally, I took it as far as I could take it in the format of like being an online centralized CD-ROM website game thing.
Something that you were actively managing.
Yeah, something that I was actively managing and backed off of it and let it evolve on its own. And, the seed was planted. It did evolve on its own. And so it's pretty much stuck into the zeitgeist now.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
The only thing I have to be careful of is I keep running across people that want to exploit it.
Right.
And commercialize it. And I'm not going to let them do it.
Right.
And so the copyright, again, comes in handy.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the only good thing about it.
And you've talked at length in other places like how you shut it down. And I forget if I told you, like, man, I read the statement that you put out or like in the CD-ROM, like the disclaimer and shit. And I was like, there's no way anyone is ever going to believe this, like about the meta machine and stuff. And I was just like, I get why they didn't believe that this was a disclaimer. Because it's like, it's over the head of a lot of people. And like,
well, I mean, people to this day, like Michael Kinsella wrote that book, Legend Shipping Online.
Yeah.
The Hunt for Ong's Hat. Even he says, like, did he really shut it down? It's like people to this. I mean, there was just a radio show that I just found out about. Came out of Chicago, I think, where they did a whole show where they were arguing about the fact that it wasn't a game, that I didn't shut it down, that it's still running. Like they do this whole show.
Yeah.
A radio show where like these people are like legitimately like arguing, oh no, it's not, he didn't shut it down. They have all these cockeyed reasons why they believe that it was real.
Right.
Something really did happen at Ong's Hat besides like nothing. And so I guess from a hyperstitional perspective,
right,
that's a success.
Yeah.
But it's also annoying as hell.
Yeah. Because like you're a fucking dude. It's a thing like me and my buddy started to say, like, I'm just some fucking guy. Like you're giving me a lot of credit for something that is physically impossible for me to do. For you to keep like running this game and in secret and all this shit.
Yeah. I feel like, did you ever see that weird movie Eddie and the Cruisers?
Maybe.
It was like this movie. The story is about like this band from New Jersey, and then the guitar player and singer meets this keyboard player who's like into Rimbaud and things like. So he kind of like turns him on to stuff.
Yeah.
And so and then he writes this like seminal album, highly intellectual rock album concept thing.
Yeah.
That doesn't do well when they release it, but like eventually it does. Like, but he drops out. He's like, "Fuck it, I'm done. Like, nobody wants to hear what I have to say. I'm out of here."
Yeah.
And he's talking to his bass player, and he's like, he's writing this whole concept album, and the bass player is like, "What is this shit that you're doing?" It's like singing the lyrics from like Arthur Rimbaud, and like this bass player is like this guy from Jersey. He's like just scratching his head. He's like, "Eddie, what are we doing? We're just a couple of guys from Jersey."
Yeah.
It's like, that's how I feel sometimes when people are like, "He's still doing, pulling the strings from the backstage," and I'm like, "No, I'm not. No, I did an improv thing.
Yeah.
I had some AI assist that I built.
Yeah.
I did a hell of a lot of marketing. You wouldn't call it marketing back. Like, people have said that what I did basically was an early rendition of guerrilla marketing, and I don't disagree with that.
Sure.
I was using a lot of the tactics that I learned at Adobe, but I was applying them for non-commercial reasons.
Yeah.
And so, okay, guerrilla marketing. I'll take that. I'll accept that.
And there's a lot of the DNA of Operation Mindfuck in there too.
Well, yeah,
obviously. Right? Like,
I mean, of course, like, big inspiration.
Yeah.
And Church of the Subgenius, big inspiration. Metaphase Typewriter, big inspiration. Like, all this stuff was inspiration. That's why I said I ended up taking all the things that inspired me and put it together in a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to put all these things that I love into one thing.
Well, dude, this is the thing about like people, like society not being able to play an infinite game, right? Like, people can't imagine putting that much blood, sweat, and tears into something for the fun of it.
And that's the thing. It's like I told you, like, at the end of the day, I was making like 24 cents or something on the CD-ROM.
Right.
If I factored in how much time I put in on this project, I'd be in the negative.
Yeah.
I would literally be in the negative.
Oh, so there must be an ulterior motive.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I must be working for the deep state. CIA. Yeah, I must be.
You must be, because there's literally no other explanation.
And see, and that's the thing that these guys who did the radio show I just tell you about. The one guy said, "There's no way that this was an improv piece because nobody can commit to the bit that long."
Yo.
And I'm like, "Yo, dude, you don't know me.
Yeah.
I can commit to the bit."
That's what I'm getting out of it. Is like, that's the whole point. That's what's fun, Yeah.
Well, I was having fun.
Yeah.
Until I wasn't.
You weren't.
And then, and so other people, like, if I had to do it over again, like, hindsight 2020, I would come up with a process to vet people before they could play.
Yeah.
And it would be behind, not a paywall, but it would be behind a wall.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there wouldn't be an open forum. There would be a forum that when you had been accepted,
mm-hmm.
like, then you could come in and play, and it would be behind a wall, and like, we wouldn't be seen by the world.
Right.
And that's how I think that's how it would have to be done. And so the wisdom for me, which I would have objected to this in the early 90s or mid 90s and even late 90s, is that certain orders keep things secret for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I get it. Now I get it.
Nice.
I was still functioning under the ideal,
right,
that all things in equal should be available to everybody in equal.
And in a perfect world, that should be true.
And in a perfect world, that would be true.
Yeah.
But we are not in a perfect world.
Right.
So we have to figure out our tribe, who they are, figure out how to message those people,
mm-hmm.
which I think I've done pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And once you reach those people, you don't have to reach any more people. You're good. You've got your tribe.
Yeah.
Because I mean, our Paleolithic brains did not evolve to keep this many people active in my peripheral vision.
No, not at all. Like, yeah. I think someone called it like the monkey sphere or something. I've heard that used. Like,
yeah.
That like if you have like one, monkey that's your like trained, monkey bodyguard and shit. Like if he got into a fight defending your ass and died, like you'd be pretty sad. And that holds true for a certain number of monkey bodyguards. At a certain point, though, you stop caring about the individual monkeys because it's just too many.
Yeah. There's too many. Yeah, you did not evolve to keep this many people in mind.
No.
And you can't have a one-on-one intimate humane relationship with that many people.
No.
And you don't want to lose that. Like you don't want to get into this mass production automation thinking because you lose your humanity, and the connection that you have with those people loses its humanity.
Yeah.
You want it to remain intimate. I look at you, I recognize you,
Yeah.
I don't want to sit there and think, do I know this person? What's their name? You kind of look familiar.
I learned very early on that you don't want just like randos showing up at parties you throw,
Exactly. That's what happened.
Yeah.
With the Incunabula Forum was like, because it was open to anybody, there was no process of vetting who these people were, why they were here. There was not even a trial process as like, well, try it out over here, like where you're away from everybody else, and like see if you like it. We'll see if we like you. I mean, that seemed at the time it struck me as like too exclusive, but you have to be sometimes.
Yeah.
Again, in the perfect world, you wouldn't have to be.
Well, no one bats an eye about like not inviting the whole world to a party you throw at your house. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like
exactly.
we all understand this.
Yeah.
And you don't have to fucking share everything with everybody. Like motherfuckers don't need to know shit about you. Like
exactly.
Yeah. No one expects that in like regular life. Like, so yeah.
Well, some people do.
Some people do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck them too.
Yeah. So that's like literally that. I mean, you asked me something about me putting out a Substack where I talked about the game is ending, game 2.0 is on the way.
Which I noticed that you didn't, that wasn't hidden or anything. It was just like opaque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On purpose.
Yeah.
And a lot of people caught it.
Yeah.
They were meant to. Game 2.0 is basically liminal cycle.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
There's a different way to do this. There's a different way I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And it's still a game. If you you've experienced the liminal cycle. Would you call it a game?
Now I think I would call it. Yeah. I mean, fuck it. Yeah. Definitely.
It's an infinite game.
Yeah.
And the great part about it is you don't even know you're playing it. And I think that's important.
Yeah.
Because if you set it up as like, this is a game.
Right. Exactly.
Already you're gonna attract the wrong people.
Yeah. And you ran other ARGs too, right? Like,
yeah, I did. I had differing levels of success with those.
Yeah.
But like nothing I would. One I tried to do right after Incunabula, and it definitely was the wrong subject matter. So like, I was dealing with. I was trying to make a statement. This ARG was called El Centro, and I was trying to make a statement about this whole thing that was going on at the time. Like, this is when Vigilant Citizen was big, and people were like kind of losing their mind. Like the Mark and Kathy thing was big, and everybody was like MK Ultra and the Monarch program and the Marionette program, and like everybody was like Bryce. What was her name? Bryce something. I forget her last name, but she was another. Like it was all these people like making these claims.
Yeah.
That like there was like Henry Kissinger and Bob Hope fucked me when I was 13 years old. Like all this crazy stuff was going on. And I'm like, and so I knew some. I'm not even going to go to it now, but I knew more about some of these people than most people.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I need to put something out there that basically like examines and exposes the fact that most of these people who are claiming that they can deprogram you from being a part of the Monarch program are really just predators. Period. They don't have anything in mind that's going to help you.
Yeah,
they're going to empty your pockets and they're going to exploit you. They're going to do weird things to you, and
they're going to fuck you up.
They're going to fuck you up. And I watched a couple people get fucked up by this stuff, and it annoyed me.
Yeah.
So I tried to put out an ARG that talked about like how full of shit these people were, and some of the people that I was trying to help, and some of the other people who were like had a dog in the fight, picked up on it, and so like they started sabotaging the game immediately because they're like, oh, he's gonna. Like, of course they didn't say this, but like, he's going to give it up. He's going to fuck us over.
Yeah, he's a threat to our fucking...
He's the threat to our book sales.
Yeah.
our showing up at seminars and blah, blah, blah. So they sabotaged the game.
Yeah.
They got it early, and so they succeeded. And so I shut it down. And then I thought a long time before doing anything again.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so this has to be a softer sell somehow.
Yeah.
There has to be a way that you can get this across without being so overt about it.
And like from Ongsa and then specifically trying to do a game, like you must have learned a fucking lot about how people are going to react to things.
Well, for one thing, you find out that the conspiracy community and the culture is something you should avoid.
Yes.
Because first of all, even if you're trying to help them,
they don't want it.
They don't want it.
Yeah.
They're completely reactionary. And so like, you become the enemy instantly. And these people will work day and night to ruin whatever you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
They have nothing
nerds.
else
they
to
have
do.
No lives. Yeah.
Yep, they have no lives. So they will work night and day to destroy what you're trying to do. Even though what you're trying to do might be trying to help them. They don't see it that way. You're the enemy, which is typical cult behavior.
Yeah.
Because all of this stuff boils down to cult behavior.
Yeah. Well, it comes down to how belief structures are formed and shit, and like and narratives and fucking memetics, like which is I've always been so goddamn fascinated by. And like I think the way I approach a lot of this stuff now, the way I approached the liminal cycle was actively engaging with that side of things and thinking like, okay, how is this impacting my brain's like subconscious processing and fucking the way my own memetic systems are working and shit. Like it's something I'm always like, I always try to be aware of at least. And I think that's, definitely insulated me from ever recently, being too wrapped up in stories I'm being told by anybody is I just don't care. Like I'm here for the fun of it, but like, I don't care though. It might be true. Maybe I don't, but who cares?
Well, I mean, I don't think I framed it in a way that it could be construed as true.
Oh, definitely not. No, I was with that. I was talking about like even just conspiracy theory in general.
Yeah, and I kind of veered away from hard conspiracy theory for sure.
Liminal is not that at all.
The liminal is a spiritual thing.
Yeah, liminal is a very spiritual thing.
And I also like made a lot of effort to make it clear that this was an exercise.
Yeah.
In method acting, for sure, and improv, but the improv probably shows up. You probably don't know as much about what I improv there, but like a lot of it was method because I literally became the characters. I mean, I literally in real life became the characters. Yeah. I wrote that stuff under the influence of a character. Yeah. Which it all started when I went to the Arctic Circle. I was up there for 8 months. And that does weird things to your head. If you don't know, you should try it sometime. It does weird things to your head. And so I came back, and I just discovered the other day that somebody wrote a book about like the weird dreams and things that happen to people in the Arctic. So I guess it's a thing. I guess it's a thing.
Interesting.
And I was kind of shocked when the latest season of True Detective came out.
Yeah.
It was all about that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I know that. The dark time, man, that shit fucks you up. It's like you don't walk away from that unaffected.
Yeah.
So like you take that home with you. And so I did. I took it home with me. And then I was just sitting there recovering, and all of a sudden, Cameron started to talk to me. I'm like, okay. And I started typing what he was telling me. I didn't question it. So I took a page from the playbook of the King in Yellow.
Yeah.
Which is basically the rumor about the King in Yellow which is never actually written in the book itself. It's just a rumor about if you read this book, you lose your mind, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But do they actually say that in the book? No. It's just a rumor that it happens when you read the book, which the book about the book is what you're reading. You're not reading the book.
Right.
Because it doesn't exist. You're reading the meta book.
Right.
And so I'm doing that same thing with the opening to Liminal, which the Cameron story is basically like I'm easing you into this, and then when I wrap it up in Stadio Numero, I'm explaining these were characters that became real.
Yeah.
In fact, they're still around, but they start to fade away. Like Cameron's already faded, and Ezra's sticking around, but he's fading.
Yeah.
And then I fade at the end.
Yeah.
And it's like I want everybody to know it's like this was an exercise. So don't I'm not going to leave it. I'm going to leave it in a way that nobody can misconstrue that what I'm saying here is this really happened in this universe at this time. But it kind of did.
Yeah.
What else was I going to do? It followed me home. I had to do something with it.
I think I said to you, like, with Stadio Numero, I was like, I feel like I've just been shown a magic trick, but like I can't. Not only can I not tell you how the trick was done, like I don't know what I saw. Like,
good.
Yeah, like the type of like what the fuckness of Stadio Numero is really hard to describe. It's like because you're playing with like authorship and like breaking the fourth wall, fifth wall, sixth wall.
Mm-hmm.
The multimedia. I mean, the fact that you incorporated real documents from that fucking from an unreleased ARG and shit, and like conversations with your friends and stuff, and like it's just fucking brilliant. Like the reader completely loses their orientation of where solid ground is. Yeah, and it's fucking brilliant. Because
I'd lost my orientation in writing it.
Yeah.
With solid ground, and I didn't know where I was going. I'm just following this. Like, I'm in a car with myself, 20 years younger, listening to, number stations. That's literally like where I was.
Yeah.
I'm just driving down this road in the desert, listening to this number station. That's all I know. Where's it going to take me? Not a clue. Didn't have a clue where I was going with that.
Christ.
All I knew was like number 1 wanted to be written, number 2 wanted to be written, and then number 3, Stadio Numero, definitely wanted to be like, I want to tie this up in a bow, but it can't just be a bow.
Right.
It has to be a Klein bottle.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what I was going to write when I started. All I know is like when I finished and I published it, I was emotionally and physically exhausted for a year. Like literally just tapped the fuck out.
That makes sense.
I felt like this must be what it feels like after a nervous breakdown. That's what it felt like.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Because it's like somebody vacuumed everything out of my soul.
And you just have to like slowly reconstitute.
Yeah. It took me a year to get back together. Yeah. I was just like messed up.
Yeah.
Oh, not messed up. No, I shouldn't say messed up. I wasn't messed up, but I was empty.
Yeah.
And because I'd been working on the Liminal cycle since 2017, last year when I published it. Yeah, the beginning of last year when I published it. So that's a long time to like always be thinking about the same thing.
Oh yeah.
And that's all I was thinking about. That's all I was thinking about during that time.
Christ. Yeah, I can see how you were drained for a year. For sure. Yeah.
I was just like, ooh. That's why like this year has been like, I'm coming back into my life, and I started this thing, and then it was like, it doesn't want to be a book.
Yeah.
Because nobody reads anymore anyway, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the people I want to reach are people that are going to listen to podcasts, and they listen to audio books at best. And, like I'm going to do this print thing that goes with it for like the few people that I know that read. Like I'd say 60% of my audience reads.
Yeah.
Like still reads, but they don't read long form stuff, like long form stuff. They're not going to read a 500-page book. After Stadio, I sat down and like, okay, I need to start reading again.
Mm-hmm.
And during the pandemic, I read a lot. Until I started like, I don't read when I write. And so like when I wrote Zen, I didn't read anybody else's work. And then I took a break, and then I read, and then I started writing Stadio, and I stopped reading again. and then I finished audio, and then I was just like too exhausted mentally to do anything, and I didn't even read. I basically sat around and watched Netflix. That's all I had the constitution to do. And YouTube, like I pay for the YouTube so I don't have to see the damn commercials. And I just sat there and watched movies. And I didn't, like, half the time I'd kind of like, oh man, I've been watching this movie for like an hour and I don't even know what it is.
Hey man.
I was like shot.
Yeah. Sometimes it's what you need.
It was like scary, dude. I didn't know if I was coming back.
No shit.
Yeah, I was like, I think I just put everything into that trilogy, and I don't know if I have anything after that. And luckily, I do.
Yeah.
At least I have this.
Yeah.
I don't know what I do after this, all things considered. But I want to do this. This has to be done.